If you were to empty your pockets right now, what would you find? A wallet, maybe a pocket knife, flashlight, pen, multi-tool, maybe even something completely unnecessary like a coin or a small fidget item. But here's the interesting part. Why do we actually carry all this stuff? Because realistically, I could probably leave the house every single day with nothing more than my phone, my wallet, my keys, and I would be perfectly fine 95% of the time. I don't need a knife in my pocket every day. I don't need a flashlight when my phone is one built in. And I definitely don't need a chunk of titanium whose entire purpose is keeping me from using my knife as a pry bar. But I carry all this stuff anyway. And the more I thought about it, the more that I realized everyday carry isn't just about being prepared. The things we choose to put in our pockets every day, it's a weird combination of several things. Utility, habit, preparedness, personal expression even, and sometimes just because we think they're cool. Guilty. So today, instead of reviewing another piece of random gear, I want to look at EDC a little differently. Why do we carry the things we carry? Why a knife? Why a multi-tool? Why wear a watch when there's a clock on your phone? And why are us something willing to spend a ridiculous amount of money on something as simple as a freaking little pen? Because I think you start answering these questions, you realize EDC says a lot more about us than we probably think. So let's get into it. Everyone's favorite is of course the knife, so let's start here. The knife is arguably the cornerstone of your EDC. I know a lot of people just carry a knife. They don't carry the multi-tool, the flashlight, all those bits and bobs is just a knife, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I myself, I really love knives, and I have them clipped in my front right pocket almost every single day. So how did I kind of get into this? Where did my knife journey start? It started, probably like many of you, with a small little Swiss Army knife like this one. Very small, very basic, and very inexpensive. Eventually, in my later kind of childhood, maybe teens, I kind of upgraded to slip joints, something similar to this. This is just a Case Sodbuster Jr. Very simple, very inexpensive, kind of a cheap steel, but it's easy to sharpen, easy to keep sharp. So I had this for a while, just drop it in the pocket and it worked. Eventually, I kind of discovered the world of modern folding knives and my mind was kind of blown. Definitely had to upgrade my budget a little bit, but still on a normal day-to-day basic, I'll carry something kind of cheap. For a while, this Nextool K40 has been in my pocket quite a bit actually. It has 14C28N, has a screwdriver here at the back with different bits, and has a crossbar lock. For a while, Benchmade had the complete hold on the access lock like this. But now, since their patent expired, you can find really good snappy action with a crossbar lock for around $40. I think this one's like $39 on Amazon right now. You can't beat it. Great deal. And I carry this knife quite a bit. You can even go up in your budget a little bit. Let's say double it, like around $80. Get something like this Kaiser Drop Bear, aluminum handle scales, 154 cm, the absolute smoothest action of any knife I've ever owned. And I really like carrying this. You can even go up in your budget a little bit more, get something more American made, like this Kershaw Bel Air, actually coming in with Magna Cut. This is around $140, I believe. Amazing, super lightweight, aluminum scales, just disappears in the pocket, and one of my favorite knives. And sometimes I want to carry maybe something a little bit more classy, go back to my childhood, go to a slip joint. You can get a premium slip joint like this Lion Steel. I think this is the Best Man 2. Titanium, micarta, M390. So it's just tons of different knives out there for whatever style or personality you want to go for. Sometimes I don't even carry a folding knife and I actually go for a small fixed blade. You don't need to be as premium as this one. This is coming from BMKT and this one's actually numbered. This is, 149 out of 300. So kind of a rare piece here, but you can still pick up a really cheap fixed blade on Amazon for like 50, 60 bucks and it'll serve you well. A knife is the main thing we carry just because it's one of the oldest tools ever out there. This is just really personal. You can go traditional or modern, but this is really nice because how often do you need to cut something in your day-to-day? For me, opening food packages, more mainly Amazon packages, getting stuff, it's just really nice to have a knife on you. You can just cut anything, cut packages, string, food, you name it. The list goes on and on. So it's literally nice having a knife in your pocket because you never know when you need to cut something. These are small, they take up absolutely no room, and it's nice. And then eventually, when you get crazy like me, collecting becomes part of it. You want the next big super steel, you want crazy handle materials. It just goes crazy. Overall, the knife often has less to do with actually what you cut and more what you enjoy carrying. And that's what's kind of crazy about this hobby, but also what's so fun. Now I want to talk about multi-tools, and this has a complete different mentality than the knife we just looked at. Because a knife solves just one problem really, really well. A multi-tool, on the other hand, this is almost more like an insurance policy. You might carry it for months without needing certain tools, but the one time you need it, it just validates carrying it every single time. There's so many little small helpful tools packed in these that you just can't help but carry one every day in case you need it. These are some of my favorites that I kind of carry and rotate. Sometimes I might want something small like the classic SD or even this little small Next Tool S0. Scissors are my most used tool by far. That's why I like this little Next Tool. It's scissors focused, really nice and small, but good usable scissors. And best of all, this one is TSA friendly. I've actually taken this one on several flights. It has been stopped, don't get me wrong, but then once they open it up, examine that there's no actual knife here, it was able to go through without an issue. For bigger multi-tools, Leatherman's of course king. I also sometimes pick up my Victorinox Spirit, but for this video, I just kind of want to focus on Leatherman. You can go with the classic Wave. Everybody, their dad, their grandpa's carried a Wave for years. This is the staple for a reason. It's the OG, has everything here. Really nice pliers, tons of different tools, outside accessible, a knife and saw, screwdrivers, bit kit, you name it. Wave can't beat it. But then you can go crazy up the scale, spend a lot of money, get something crazy like the Arc with a Magna Cut blade, the free technology, all the magnets. It's a really nice, kind of bulky, very, very expensive. I think it's like over $250. So my personal favorite, if I had to give a recommendation for a multi-tool, would actually be the Leatherman Curl. I really like the Curl because it's very, very similar to the Leatherman Wave. You can just look, they almost look identical, just missing the two outside accessible tools here on the back. Comes with a pocket clip already pre-installed. Only difference here is the tools. These are non-locking. They're instead held in with a detent. It's a really strong detent. So just something to keep in mind compared to the locking tools on the Wave. But this is also cheaper than the Wave. I forget how much the Wave is right now. I'm going to say like 120, 130, maybe around there. I think the Curl brand new is around like 80, and you can often pick these up on sale on eBay for around 50 bucks. So in my opinion, the Curl is the best of both worlds. Has all the tools from the Wave, but it's a little bit lighter due to missing the two outside accessible tools. Has a pocket clip, so it's much easier to carry in the pocket. And this one has seen the most pocket time out of any. So if you're going to take any recommendation from me on a multi-tool, I would 100% recommend the Curl. Once again, a multi-tool, it's not the do-all, end-all, but it's nice having a little toolkit on your belt or in your pocket because you never know what you might run into throughout the day. So having a multi-tool and actually needing it throughout your day, it's so big. I know most people that click on this video, their favorite thing is the knife. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love knives too, of course. I mean, look at my channel, I have hundreds of videos of knives. But my favorite thing, and the thing I actually use the most every single day, way more than a knife, is surprisingly enough, a flashlight. Think about it. A knife I might only need to use once or twice a day to cut something. Sometimes I might not even use my knife a day. I might not even need to cut anything. But a flashlight, I use a flashlight every single day. Because think about it. It's 100% going to get dark later on today. It's just a proven fact of life. A flashlight helps combat that. This beats the darkness. So I always have a flashlight on me no matter what. You might think, my phone is a flashlight. Why do I need my own dedicated one then? There's a couple different reasons. First, it's the output. Your phone's brightness, max brightness for a flashlight is not very bright. I mean, think about it. You've used your phone's flashlight before. It's not that bright. This little guy right here even packs a bigger punch. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Next up is convenience because these don't drain your phone's battery. If you're in a power outage, you lose power and need to use your phone's flashlight, that's going to drain your battery. These, don't have to worry about it. These all have their built-in batteries, good to go. These also just keep you more prepared for emergencies, power outages. If I lose power, say in my home right now, I'm not going to use my phone's flashlight to light up rooms. I'll instead turn on this one, rest it with the tail cap, and it'll light up the entire room for me. I mean, it's just good to go. Or even this one with this little side light. I could turn this on, have this little side light, and light up my room. Just set it right here, good to go. So these all have different tons of features that your phone's flashlight doesn't have. For example, this one has a laser pointer. My phone doesn't have a laser pointer. This one also has a UV light if I ever need to check something. My phone doesn't have a UV light either. So just these have tons of different factors and features. These have spotlights, floods, just really help light up room, light up bigger paths, or see further in the dark. I love carrying a flashlight. I use one every single day. And I really don't think people understand how useful these are until they actually start carrying one. I was in the same boat. I really didn't think I needed a flashlight. My phone had one until I started carrying one of these. completely changed my mind. You can skip over to the next section, but I'm just going to run through these, my favorite flashlights real quick and just tell you why these are my favorite right now. So first off, Olight Baton Ultra. I think this is the Pro. I absolutely love it. This one's really great because it also has USB-C charging, not just the standard Olight charging system. Really nice and light, good size, extremely bright, really pocketable. Really like this one. Next up is my favorite small flashlight. This is coming from Skill Hunt. This is the EC150. I like it because it's really small, really bright, really nice and easy to carry. This was a nice upgrade over my personal flashlight for years, was the Manker E052. This one's just a little bit brighter, has a little bit more modes. Then I really like this one. It's a little bit different, but it's the Wubin X4. I like the side light, the front. Nice small form factor. It looks a little bit bulky, but it's actually not that bad in the pocket. Then we have another Olight. This one is the Arc Pro Ultra. Like this one due to the form factor. It looks more like a standard traditional pocket knife, so it slips in and out of the pocket pretty easy. Really nice deep carry pocket clip. Really like the features. Very similar to this one, just a little bit different form factor. Then we finally have the small little keychain light. This is the I Ultra, also from Olight. Just pull it out, good to go. Like this one because you don't need any cables or charging ports. Just USB-C right here. So just plug it in, you're good to go. Really nice, small, put it in your keys, forget it's there. So these are my favorite flashlights. I'm always looking for suggestions. So if you have any more, definitely let me know in the comments below. Now let's talk about kind of a gimmick category. This is pry bars. People love to hate on pry bars, and I totally understand it. I definitely agree. I think paying $300 for a titanium pry bar is just ludicrous, even though I have one right here, but I actually picked this one up secondhand for a crazy cheap price. I'll have a separate video on this later in the future, but just keep it in mind, stay with me here. But pry bars, they have a couple different uses. The one is just saving your knife tip. I know a lot of people have a knife and they use it to scrape or pry, and I've seen a lot of chipped blade tips or scratched edges. You don't have to worry about this with a pry bar. You can use these, use and abuse it, scratch it, pull it. And I've actually used a pry bar more often than you would think, surprisingly enough. I know these are totally a gimmick, pocket jewelry, pocket art, you name it, but I actually use mine quite a bit, and it actually surprises me. And this is the one I carry most days. This is coming from Vosti. This is the Shark Bomb pry bar. It's titanium, deep wire pocket clip, bottle opener here on the side. There's actually kind of a cool anodized like fishbone pattern here on the side. This one's like 40 bucks, so still definitely more expensive than it needs to be, but I like it because it's so small. I clip in the pocket, forget it's there. I added this lanyard to help me pull it out of the pocket. I really like this just because it's a purpose-built tool. It's kind of preparedness for just those weird, oddly specific situations. Just really interesting. I used this just the other day to pry open a frame. I bought a frame, had to replace the picture, and it was really stuck, so this helped kind of bust it open. I drink a lot of bottles, so this helps me bust open those caps. Really like it. You can go bougie and get more expensive pry bars. This is coming from Lynch Northwest. These are around $100. Or even this one. This is coming from Nice Guy Machine Co. This is the side piece. These are like $300, so even crazier. But pry bars, definitely a gimmick. I have a different video talking about just pry bars in general. I'm actually going to do a version 2 coming up shortly, but I know people like to make fun of them, but I actually see some use out of them. So for my purposes, I actually like carrying one, but your mileage may vary here, of course. Now, I know pry bars are probably going to get some hate, but this category, this is where the real hate is going to come in. Because why would you carry something that actually serves no purpose? Why would you carry, a random challenge coin or a small clicky fidget, whatever? Why would you carry this junk that just takes up space in your pocket? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't carry one of these every single day. Some of this lives on my desk, or I might throw it in the pocket one day if I just feel like it. I mean, this is a total personal category. Sometimes you just want something in your hand, just to kind of manipulate while you're thinking. Maybe I'm sitting at my desk just working, kind of bored, just want to play with something. I could play with a coin. I can even play with this little slider. Even this little pen, this is the magnetic tail cap, just back and forth. Sometimes you just kind of want to keep your hands busy. You like the routine satisfaction, just the tactile feel. Also, this could be sentimental. You might have a coin that was passed down from a deceased relative. Maybe that was special number is in their pocket. Could be sentimental, or even just collectability. I know people really go crazy collecting different coins and fidgets and expensive pens. The list just goes on and on. I don't know. This isn't something I'm totally passionate about because, like you can see, I don't really have tons of gear that kind of fits this category. I kind of like my stuff to be kind of purpose-driven, kind of focused for its utility. But there is a day that comes where I do want to throw a coin in the pocket, just toss it in the pocket and just kind of play with it. So it is kind of nice to have, but once again, total personal preference here, but just something I kind of wanted to mention. Now let's talk about wallets. And there's not a lot to cover here. You know what a wallet does. Holds your cards and cash. That's it. There's a couple of different styles. So why would I kind of gravitate towards these wallets? This one made out of Cordura nylon, very nice and thin. If I just want to carry some cards, mainly in the summer when I'm wearing like gym shorts, I want something very lightweight. This does the job perfectly, doesn't weigh you down. There are some downsides here. This is just mass produced, really cheap off AliExpress for $4. I don't feel craftsmanship here. This doesn't bring me joy in my pocket. And it doesn't have a spot for bills, so not my favorite, just a very lightweight option. Then we move over to a leather wallet. And leather wallets, probably my favorite just because they tell a story. Somebody handmade this. This leather, you think, came from a living animal. And then somebody, actually a craftsman, took their hands and tools and they built something like this. This one's coming from Etsy, from Stork Speak Leather. I like this one because it's a really weird and interesting mechanism that opens and closed. This has been one of my favorite wallets for quite a while now. I actually have a separate video on this wallet on the channel if you want to check it out. It was one of my favorite wallets. I just like it because I actually talked to the person that made this. So it kind of has a connection there and it has a story. And leather will also age and patina over time. So it's kind of cool because the piece will tell its story itself. So that's awesome. My wallet that I'm using personally right now though is a small pouch wallet like this one. This is coming from Mission Workshop. It's made out of this ultra material, which is one of my favorite materials like on backpacks. So when I saw that it was available in a wallet, I jumped on it. I don't have any cards and cash in here right now because I don't want you guys stealing my information, but I like a wallet like this because a pouch allows you to store more gear in it. For example, I've actually been carrying a small flashlight in this wallet recently. This is a new one coming from Woobin. This is the E2. It's a really, really small keychain style flashlight. And it has several different modes. I can even switch it, change it to side light, like almost like a cop light. Just really cool. I like it because it's so small, just fits in here no problem. And I like pouch wallets like that because it allow you to store more gear. I can also fit Band-Aids, you know, an air tag in here where I can't really do that with these ones. So it's an advantage of a pouch wallet. But whatever wallet you choose doesn't really matter as long as it just keeps your cards and cash secure. So kind of basic, but I at least want to show you a couple different options today. So now I want to talk about watches. And I'm going to say one thing first. I am not a watch expert by any means. So take everything I say here with an absolute grain of salt. So these are kind of the watches that I would wear on a day-to-day basis. We have 3 of these mechanical watches, and then I have a G-Shock. I like these because these allow you to kind of be personal, personalize your appearance, have a little bit of yourself on your wrist, and that's one thing I like. They kind of tell a story about, you know, how you're feeling, your vibes, your experience. So that's one thing that's cool. But for me personally, these all stay in a drawer. I never wear these. Every single day without fail, I'm wearing a G-Shock. And this one particularly, this is the best one I've found. It's very crisp display, shows the date, the time, right at a really quick glance, no glare. I absolutely love this one. I actually have a video on this watch specifically on the channel if you're more interested in this specific model. But I just want a watch that works, is legible, low profile and comfortable, and this just checks all those boxes for me. A watch is kind of interesting because why do we wear a watch when our phone tells time even more accurate than these? A watch is just nice because it could be sentimental. It could be a fascination with the mechanical aspect. It could be just habit or just style. I like wearing a watch, and when I leave the house, and let's say I forget to put this one on in the morning, I almost feel naked. I feel naked when I don't have a watch on my wrist. It's kind of crazy, but it's just that habit that I'm just got into. I love having a watch. I can just look down at my wrist real quick instead of pulling my phone out and checking the time. I feel like that's just so rude too, pulling out your phone, checking the time, instead of just clicking down, looking at your wrist. So I love the convenience factor of a watch, and I cannot go a single day without wearing one on my wrist. So that's one thing, and that's kind of my thoughts on watches. I know people spend thousands and thousands of dollars on Rolexes and Omegas and Tudors, but for me, I just need something simple, reliable, and comfortable, and this classic G-Shock does the job. So let's bring this long, rambling video home. Your EDC is a mixture of several different things. It's what you need, what you think you might need, and what you just simply enjoy carrying. 2 people can live complete identical lives and carry completely 2 different things. Someone only carries a phone and a wallet. Somebody else carries a knife, a multi-tool, flashlight, pry bar, pen, watch, and a coin. And neither is necessarily wrong. So maybe the real question isn't, do I need this? Because if that was the standard, most of this stuff would just disappear. The better question is, does carrying this make my day easier, more enjoyable, or make me feel a little bit more prepared? And if the answer is yes, I feel like that's reason enough. So thanks so much for listening through this crazy long video. Thanks for just letting me go through some of my favorite gear. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.